Hi, I'm Rishi, the founder of Zameen. We are a spice subscription box, and I'm going to make a recipe that comes from my mom. My mummy is what I call her, and so mummy makes this recipe on special occasions. And traditionally we would have white rice, maybe occasionally at the end of the meal, at our end of our dinner, a little bit of white rice. But on special occasions, when it was a wedding, or it was a puja, or if there was like Diwali holiday or something like that, she would make Pulao, which was eaten with like dal or curry. So I'm gonna start making the recipe, and I'm gonna probably have to switch the camera. So I'll be right back. All right, thank you. Before I start the recipe, I want to show you the ingredients. So I have 1 cup of basmati rice, and it's really important that you get basmati for this recipe because I don't know if it hasn't really turned out very well for me when I didn't use a basmati rice. So you'll have to modify and adjust things around if you decide to use another recipe, another type of rice. And so, but if you do use another rice, please like and please comment in below to tell us like what other rice you could use and what adjustments you make, because I know the community would love to hear that. So I'm using 1 cup of basmati rice. I'm going to use some ghee. This is the ghee that we tend to use in my house. I'm gonna use 1/4 of a cup of frozen vegetables. I know one of our customers, she switched this up with like cashews and cranberries. So, be creative. I am a big believer that you gotta make each recipe your own. Even when I'm like making my own recipes, I look online to see what's out there, but I also love to kind of make the recipe mine. And then we're gonna use about I think, how much is it? 2 to 3 cardamom pods. And of course, you're gonna want to use your Zameen cardamom, and yep, smells really good. So yeah, we're gonna use that. There are some other spices that you may not have around the house, and it's okay if you don't have them. You can go without them. This recipe will be good because rice with ghee is just amazing. It's just the combination made in heaven. So you do not have to feel like, hey, I don't have one of these, ingredients. The only 2 ingredients or 3 ingredients that I would like suggest that you definitely have is the cardamom, the rice, and the ghee. The rest of them are kind of optional, and you'll have to make your adjustments. But yeah. So the other thing that we'll be using is some cinnamon, and we'll be using some Zameen cinnamon bark, which will be one of our subscription packages in next month, actually, but don't tell anyone. And we have some cloves here, about 4 pieces of cloves. Yeah, 3 to 4 pieces of cloves, and some black pepper, and of course, this is also one of our future packages, so you definitely want to stay tuned and subscribe to our Zameen packages. And a little fact about black pepper is that it's actually the first and the original kind of pepper and chili of I guess I would call it a pepper of India. So all the chilies that we see were brought in later through colonialism. So yeah, so it's a really fun fact. Okay, so I'm gonna switch the camera around. You won't see me, but you will see the food so that you can get a sense of how to cook it. All right, I'll see you in a bit. Thank you. So the first thing I'm gonna do is put the saute mode on, because we want the ghee to melt. So yeah, that's the first step. And so once I do that, I'm gonna pour in the ghee. My recipe in the package calls for 2 tablespoons of ghee, but I'm using 1 tablespoon here to make sure that I think I can be able to cook it with 1, but if this is your first time, you might want to try it with 2 and then modify based on that. Yes, so I'm gonna wait for that to melt. I'm just gonna spread it around in all parts of the all the bottom of the Instapot pot. Okay. Don't want to waste any ghee. When I lived in the village, they were very ghee was really precious, and so after that, I've always been kind of had a better appreciation for it. It's still melting. I see some chunks still. Bring it slightly closer so you can get a better angle. Okay, awesome. Now I'm going to add the cinnamon bark. And you could also use rolled cinnamon. You just might want to kind of crush it with a mortar and pestle, or if you don't have a mortar and pestle, you can put it in a Ziploc bag and use a mallet and gently just crush it. So we're going to temper it in this oil for about 30 seconds. You know, I just want to get the ghee having the taste and smell of the cinnamon. Yeah, I think that's good. And then I'm going to add some of the cloves. So it's just 4 cloves. I had some water in my. I got in there, but okay. Oh, and there's 1 more clove. Okay, awesome. And just give it another 30 seconds. And then I'm going to add, I think that's good. Yeah, I'm going to add about, let's see. Yeah, I think it's good. I'm going to add the black pepper, whole black pepper into it. Get that. Let that cook for a bit. Okay. And then I'm going to add about 2 to 3 pods of cardamom. I'm going to add this 3 big ones and 1 little small itty bitty one. Yep. Good. Okay. And now I'm going to add our rice. So I'm just going to saute the rice in the spice ghee oil. Or melted ghee, I guess you call it. for it to get a little brown before we add the vegetables. I think we could add the vegetables now. Let's see, just get a little brown. It's important to cook the ghee here. It's also important to remember not to wash the rice, because the rice is, that was one of the most important rules my mom had about this recipe, is that washing the rice would create broken rice, or broken grain kernels of rice, I guess, once it's cooked. So please make sure not to wash the rice. I think it's getting brown now. I see a little bit of brownness there. So I'm gonna add the vegetables. You can add something else. I know one of my customers or subscribers, she added cashews and cranberries. And so, be creative and add, whatever else you would like to in the rice. It is important to keep the proportions right for the vegetables. Even if you want to incorporate more vegetables, it might not cook right if you add too many vegetables. So that's something to think about, or too many other additives. Okay. Now I'm gonna add the water. I'm adding 2 cups, even though the recipe in my mom called for 2.5, but I think 2 cups is good for the Instapot because she tends to use the pressure cooker. So. Awesome. Great. And then, depending on how much, you could put a teaspoon of salt, but if you could put more or less based on whether you're going to be eating it alone or with a dal, or some chicken or some curry or something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna add about half of this 1 teaspoon, because I always like to err on the less. You can always add more, but then it's really hard to take out a lot of salt. Perfect, and it looks good to me. So now I'm going to put on the lid. And now I'm going to change the setting. I'm going to keep that off because we don't want to run out saute, and we just want to hit the rice and make sure that the venting part is staying, the vent is staying in. So I'm gonna, and if you're new to an Instapot, this will stay on until it's heated, until the plate has heated enough inside. And then this, I think it's called a whistle, kind of, or what this dowel thing will come up. And once that comes up, the entire thing will be locked, and so I will see you all in a little bit. All right, thank you. All right, so now I'm gonna open our pulao, and as you can see, the whistle has gone down. So it looks amazing. All right, I'm gonna make sure that all the rice is, just mix it together. And then it looks like it's ready to serve now. So, yeah. Thanks for joining. Please like and tag us at Zameen Co on Instagram and YouTube. Thank you so much.